Hello and welcome back to Tuesdays with Tom. It feels like every week we get questions from people asking how to start their own care facility or how to open their own care business. So we decided what we want to do is spend a couple of weeks doing this as a multi-part series and really go over all the different steps and stages on how to make that happen. So to start, we first have to decide, what do you want to do? So how does a person choose if they're going to do an adult residential facility, an RCFE? How do they pick?
First of all, it depends on your experience, the age level you want to work with. An ARF is an adult residential facility. It's for ages, people that are 18 to 59. An RCFE is residential care for the elderly, and that's anybody over the age of 60. They may have dementia, they may not, but that's the breakdown. Most people start with 6 beds. Well, you're going to need an administrator certificate. That's an 80-hour class. It's 60 hours sitting in a webinar. Licensing calls it live streaming now, and then 20 hours online. For an RCFE, the ARFs need 35 hours. You have to have a cleared background clearance. So hopefully you haven't been arrested, but if you have, if it's anything really serious like any kind of sexual abuse, even animal abuse at all, then you're not going to qualify for a license. But there is a list from licensing on what they'll qualify and what they won't to get an exception. But if you've never been arrested, you don't have to worry about any of that. You have to have a facility license. It's something we prepare. The charge for the facility license, if we're doing it, it starts at $1,500. It's a 400-plus page application for the RCFEs. The ARFs are a little bit smaller. And then the state's going to charge you another $1,000 when you apply for a license. You'll need a facility to operate the business in. This can be your own home. It can be an investment property, like a rental house that you own, or you could lease from a third party. You have to have at least a 1-year lease, and the lease has to say that this property is going to be used for a care facility. You need cash. About $20,000 for a 6-bed facility. Could be up to $60,000 for a bigger facility, or depending on what your mortgage is, what your expenses are. The cash can be in a checking account, a savings account. You could have CDs. You could have a line of credit. You could have equity in your home and have a home equity line of credit. And you can count credit on credit cards. So there's different ways to come up with the cash. You only need that cash while you're getting licensed. So a lot of people borrow it from a relative and then they pay it back. You do need to have coverage of staff for 24 hours a day. So pretty much once you start, 365, 24 hours a day, you need to have staff there. You need furniture for your kitchen, your dining room, activity room, living room, whatever you have, and then furniture for each of the residence rooms.
So what are we looking at then as a timeline? Like, how long does it take to get all of this moving?
The administrator class, which we do that, is called Administrator Certificate, what you'll need. And we can actually do the class and you can take the test in 1 to 2 weeks, but it's taken licensing 6 to 8 months after you finish the class to issue the certificate. So it can be a lot less though if you're turning in an application, because you can ask to have it accelerated with the application. Otherwise, you need that administrative certificate. You can hire somebody or partner up with somebody that already has a certificate, and then you don't have to wait. The license itself for the facility is taken 3 to 4 months if everything's complete when you turn it into the state. It helps if you have experience. You do not for the elderly facilities, the RCFEs. Now the adult facilities, most of your residents, your clients, they call them clients, going to come from the regional center, and you need to have probably a minimum of 2 years. It's each regional center decides what you need. But we could get you a license, but they may not give you clients for the adult facilities until you do have that experience.